Hey everybody, Happy New Year. I'm sorry I didn't put out a video in the past week. I've been using the first week of 2022 as a way to just consolidate my thoughts and just think about the trajectory of where I want the bar to go in 2022. Last year was the first year I touched upon the MCU and more comic book related things, so I think that it might be time for me to start branching out given the possible state of My Hero Academia and My Hero Academia Vigilantes, meaning that they're probably going to be ending in 2022. So going into 2022, I want to make sure that my content has more variety, and now you can come to the bar for all sorts of different things. But today we're here to talk about My Hero Academia Vigilantes, and chapter 117 was absolutely phenomenal. Now I know I said that about chapter 116 because 116 did have its flaws despite, what happened at the end of it, but 117, holy crap. There's so much to talk about because now I feel like they're starting to kind of wrap up the story as a whole and try to figure out a way to have Koichi enter My Hero Academia pretty gracefully. We've seen Horikoshi's thought processes, so I can tell you right now, just when you think that the story is starting to become stagnant, that's when he hits you with something. And kind of mild spoilers for My Hero Academia, don't expect the Vigilantes for that big side thing that All Might is planning. I don't really expect it to be the Vigilantes whatsoever, but if it is, that would be pretty wild. And remember, when we head into the bar, as far as spoilers go, anything goes. Don't be surprised if I end up spoiling Spider-Man No Way Home or something like that. Now let's go inside and grab ourselves a drink and talk about the fact that we saw Koichi's first and probably final smash. Welcome to the bar, folks. Now, I know one of the most abused terms that I've used around these parts is the beginning of the end. I've constantly said that I think that this might be the beginning of the end of Vigilantes. I think that this might be the beginning of the end of My Hero Academia. And both times I was kind of right considering that, both stories are pretty much ending in 2022. But look, this time, I actually think that this might be the beginning of the end of My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Mostly because, the story has to end sometime before My Hero Academia does. And of course, every single one of us is hoping that when Vigilantes ends, they make the transition into My Hero Academia for the final battle. I feel like a lot of us doubted that Horikoshi really had My Hero Academia Vigilantes in mind when he was crafting his current script for My Hero Academia. And honestly, that couldn't be any more wrong. We've seen that things in My Hero Academia Vigilantes kind of happen as a proving ground for them to happen in My Hero Academia. Think about that dramatic irony that every single one of us experienced in My Hero Academia Vigilantes when we met Aizawa's best friend Shirakumo, and then literally 2 months later in My Hero Academia, we find out that Shirakumo is Kurogiri. So they 125 million% know that Vigilantes exists and they're gonna do something with it. And let's be real here, if they don't involve the Vigilantes in My Hero Academia, it's a serious misstep for the story. If Horikoshi doesn't introduce the Vigilantes and doesn't introduce them in any way, shape, or form, that is like over 5 years of a series' continuity tossed into the garbage for no reason whatsoever. At that point, you're having one of those moments in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when there's so many strong stand users in one place, you really kind of wonder why the end of part 6 actually even happened, I know you anime-only JoJo's fans have no idea what I'm talking about whatsoever, but you manga guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we got chapter 117 to talk about. Meet me over by the wall. I gotta drop this beer off over by Spike. Alright, so first things first, if you enjoy the content here at the bar, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to join in on every video's premiere, be sure to hit that notification bell. YouTube has this weird process of how it suggests videos, and recently people have been telling me that they haven't been getting their notifications that a video has been going up. So what you need to do is change your notification bell settings from personalized to all. And by changing your notifications from personalized to all, you'll be notified when I go live to read a chapter on YouTube. And if you want to see all of my past live streams and see all of my live reactions to the chapter, all you gotta do is become a member to the channel. It's like $2 and you get some pretty cool emojis as well. Alright, so chapter 117 starts off with Popstep pretty much dying, I'm guessing right here? She begins seizing up, and to some people that were like, wasn't she in stable condition? They did say earlier when this whole thing, kind of erupted that she was nor better nor worse. So this is kind of something that they threw in the air just for the moment, I guess. Because essentially what this chapter is Koichi having a schizophrenic moment by envisioning the girl that he loves and his master. Like, I want to make very clear, I'm not going to be going through the chapter and giving you an exact play-by-play of what happened. If you want that, go read the chapter and then come back. These are just my thoughts on what I thought about. And I can tell you right now, this plot device of Popstep having a seizure just to serve what's going on right now, it's kind of a cop-out. Essentially, what the universe of My Hero Academia is trying to say is that when you have an emotional connection to someone that is so deep that when both people are on the brink of death, they can communicate to one another using their quirks, I'm guessing? This actually goes back to one of the theories that I've had to whether or not a quirk is actually your soul, and what All For One does when he steals your quirk is he essentially steals your life essence, the thing that makes you you. Because during my live stream, I really kind of discussed how this can be interpreted in several different ways. Because one of the oldest tropes in shonen is someone passing away and then them coming back for like 30 seconds to entrust a gift to someone else and then being like, alright, I'm out, goodbye, love ya, peace. So that absolutely could be it. Quirks could have a weird type of sentience in this world that we're in. Or it could be something that's a little bit more grounded in reality. We've seen from the past chapters of My Hero Academia Vigilantes that when Koichi is going to do something that he kind of deems sketchy, what he does is envisions Popstep and kind of sees, like, you know, the type of face that she would make if he does something. To which he's absolutely correct. This is the bad one. His knuckles are going to put some holes inside of number 6 in a few minutes. But that's the thing. His pacifism personified is Popstep, and his aggression personified is Knuckle Duster. Because we could chalk up that moment when Knuckle Duster comes to Koichi to the actual quirk singularity coming out and ringing to Koichi, or we can kind of chalk it up to Koichi being so delirious from blood loss that now he's envisioning his master. Because before Koichi's quirk had its final evolution, he was evolving his quirk fine on his own, and then he kind of got this final inspiration by losing blood, kind of envisioning his master, and realizing the only thing for him to do is punch this guy in the face. It's just that Koichi needed to personify a rationale inside of his head to actually do something. And the reason why he envisions Popstep saying I love you is because they've known each other's true feelings the entire time. We have this weird Naruto Hinata situation where the admirer really isn't kind of from afar, it's kind of really up in front of his face, but he's kind of oblivious to it. So this is the moment that he also realizes that this woman does love him unconditionally. So while the concept for final inspiration being driven by a quirk singularity is certainly possible, I think it's more likely that something like this happened. My guess is you'll actually have the scene where Koichi says, "Pop, you saved me," and she's like, "What? You didn't what?" And the one thing about the death scene between Koichi and Knuckle Duster is I feel like it kind of sets the groundwork a little bit more about what the death scene will be between Deku and All Might. And really, I do feel like the death of Knuckle Duster kind of sets the groundwork for All Might's death. I won't go into exactly what I mean, but essentially what I'm saying is that All Might's death is the completion of One For All. They can defeat Shigaraki, they can defeat All For One, and the final battle, in my personal opinion, will take place inside of Deku, to where one by one every single one of his quirks will be destroyed, and then by the end Deku will be a quirkless person once again. And for all we know, the final standoff will be the first brother All Might and Deku standing in front of All For One, your 3 quirkless musketeers. Also, one of the main things that I do around these parts is theorize when My Hero Academia Vigilantes will make the move into My Hero Academia. Also, the death of Knuckle Duster just ensures that the string that leads to All For One is certainly going to be tugged upon by Soga or by Koichi, more likely by Soga. Granted, there's a possibility that Koichi walks up to a dying number 6 and number 6 mutters the name All For One, and from there the whole can of worms gets blown open. So whether or not Koichi wants skin in the game or not, Soga is going to come to him with the opportunity to be like, hey, we can continue pulling on this and we can figure out who created number 6 and most of all, who's responsible for our master's death. We're officially in the endgame now and we can start assuming what's going to happen. Will Koichi get arrested? Will he just retire to a quiet life with Popstep? Because in this chapter, the type of fisticuffs that he's throwing now, he is absolutely on par with some of the strongest heroes in the My Hero Academia universe. I don't want to fight Koichi anymore. In the beginning of this story, he was nothing but a defensive fighter. Only every now and then would he break out a sudden crazy move that would stall the villain in some way or form. But now, my man's out here throwing haymakers and putting 4 holes inside of a kaiju leveled threat. Like, imagine how strong this guy would actually be if he had proper hero training. I said it on Twitter and I'll say it right here. Koichi could absolutely demolish every single student in Class 1A. And to be quite honest, if Deku doesn't have any support gear, he's gonna get waxed by Koichi too. And to be quite honest, I know everyone's excited to see the new support gear and all of that, but you know, one of the things that All Might did say to Deku in the very beginning of the story was don't be too reliant on support gear. Because if you think about the current climate of My Hero Academia, Mei Hatsume said that she's working her ass off and doesn't really have the time to help out the heroes with new support gear, so they have to kind of make do with what she can create with her left hand only. What Koichi could do is actually help the students evolve their quirks without the reliance of support gear, because he was able to take his simple quirk and figure out how to make it into something so magnificent it wasn't anything like it was before. Like, if anything, what My Hero Academia Vigilantes has told me is that every single character in My Hero Academia has that moment for their quirk to reach the singularity, for where it just evolves into something that is just absolutely nuts. Like, just think about what Koichi's quirk used to be and what it is now. I'm assuming that it's only a matter of time before Todoroki becomes a water monster and Ida learns how to fly. Either way, this chapter was absolutely magnificent. I mean, we finally got to see Koichi throw his first and probably his final smash ever, at least in Vigilantes. But there is certainly a lot to digest from chapter 117, because we can take it and apply it to My Hero Academia for just a more richer experience. And if this is truly the beginning of the end, they've been doing it rather smoothly. And it was actually pretty eloquent to see the way that they paralleled certain scenes from prior in the manga in this particular chapter. Like when they're all jumping towards the moon in the first chapter, it's kind of mirrored right here. In a way, I feel like it's kind of telling us, the reader, that this is our swan song. Enjoy our characters teaming up for the final time to give our hero the final push, you know? So let me know how you felt about chapter 117. Did it make you ponder as much as it made me ponder? I mean, I have like 7 theory videos to write now because of this one chapter. I can't believe how replenished I feel. But if you agree with me, or if you think I'm out of pocket, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more MCU videos, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. I would love to do something like, could All For One steal the quirks of the Marvel and DC universes or something like that. So let me know, and I'll catch y'all later. Happy New Year. Cheers.